All right, welcome to the Construct 3 tutorial. Let's get straight into it. So you can see this is the main menu screen for Construct 3. To start a new project, we'll just click on New, and we'll name the project Tutorial. And you can choose a preset. There's different kinds of presets, but I recommend for these video game projects to start with Retro Style, as it's the easiest to work with, and it's the one that's best optimized to work with pixel art. Then you can change the viewport size, so this will basically be how much of the screen the camera sees, so the size of the camera. Then you can choose to work in portrait or landscape, and whether to start with an event sheet or a script, but most of the work will be done with an event sheet. So there's not much to change. We'll just click Create, and this is what Construct 3 will look like. So at first, if we take a look at the properties on the left, this is the properties of the project. So see the name, all kinds of different properties. Not many of them are very important. If ever you want to change the camera size, so you can see here this dotted line is the camera, so what the player will see when the game is played. You can always change it here in the project, but the size of the camera has to be consistent throughout the entire project. So you can have a different camera size for each layout. Then there's some more settings. You can choose the full screen quality, change the orientation, all kinds of different settings. But most importantly is on the right here. So if you can see here, this is what we call a layout. So this is the first layout, with this being the viewport, what the camera will see. So first thing we'll do, if you right click on the layout, you can insert a new object, and there's many different objects you can choose from, but usually during the project you'll only use a handful of these. So let's start with the most basic, and let's put in our first sprite. So I'll click Insert, select where I want to put it, and as a first sprite, I'll just make it a square. So I'll fill this red, and I'll start off with a red square. So now we have a red square in our layout. We can position it wherever we want, and if I click play, the only thing you'll see is the white background with a red square. So not much to it. So let's go and add a background now. So if you go down to General, these are usually the most used ones. If you click on the tiled background, and I'll put in a green background. So select green, I'll put it in, and you can see that our red square is covered. That's not a problem. You can right click on anything to see all the settings, and if you click on Z order, you can send it to the bottom of the layer, which is what we'll do. And now our red square will appear on top. So now we have a sprite and a background, and the next thing we can do is add behavior to our little sprite. So if you right click on it and you select add, you can see you can add to it an instance variable, behavior, or an effect. So we'll add a behavior, and what we'll do is we'll give it the 8 direction movement. So this basically means that the sprite will be able to move in 8 directions. And if I now click on the sprite and I scroll down to behaviors, you can see here all the properties of the 8 direction movement. So you can change the speed, the acceleration, the deceleration. You can change it to move to 4 directions, only left and right or up and down. Set angle, so if you want the sprite to rotate with your movement or not, you can select so that it doesn't rotate. Now if we click play, with the arrow keys, you can see I can move the sprite around, and it rotates with my movements. So there's not much to the introduction to Construct. It's really just creating the first project, naming it, creating the first layout, and then starting to add different sprites, messing around with the behaviors, And there's other videos that cover all the different movement behaviors, some more advanced movements, some tutorials that cover the event sheet and the programming of Construct. So just for the little introduction, that's basically it. Just how to open the project, the different properties bars. Maybe one more thing I'll show is here the menu. In the project menu, this is where you can save the game, preview it, the debug menu, export it, and in the view you can change what bars are showing. So the properties bar on the left is the different properties of the selected objects. There's the project bar on the right where you can see all the layouts, all the different objects, and all the different event sheets. And then there's the layers bar. If you're adding different layers, you'll see them here. And you can add other bars if you wish, or you can remove bars if you don't find them necessary. And then you can always reposition them, basically customize the screen however you want. That's basically it.